Hey, Best Team. I'm really excited about how things are going, and I love the fact that Lozano came up with the compass for the kids. I use a compass as an analogy for adults that understand what a compass is. They drive cars, those types of things. But now introducing a compass that the kids can actually hold is going to be very, very powerful for them. And I'm very, very blessed. I think we're blessed, and I'm very, very thankful for that great idea to bring that in. And I think that's something I'll use with all the after-school programs and young kid programs that I have starting across Texas and across the country, because it's going to really be a very, very powerful tool. So we're going to build off of that. My understanding is last week you gave them the compasses, told them about how it is used, what it's for, and then also kind of told them that they're going to get to keep those eventually if they demonstrate positive decisions, if they demonstrate making decisions using their superpower, using their compass of right, making decisions that are better for them. So today, what we're going to do is now start building upon that. So the first part of today is like it should be all the time, is reminding them about what their superpower is. Their superpower is their compass of right. Get them to repeat that information. And it's been very, very powerful when they do that. And I think we're probably at a point now where they all can tell you that their superpower is their compass of right. Or, if you ask them, well, what is your compass of right? It's our superpower. So they figure all that out. And I think they're probably also understanding when they make decisions using their superpower that that's usually better for them, which is the opposite of worse. One of the things we're going to start now this week is, instead of using bad behavior, talking about what happens with bad behavior and making that comparison between worse and better and wrong and right, we're going to start to reinforce the good behavior, the positive behavior. We have an analogy of when people make bad decisions and all of those decisions are going into a bucket and there's no bottom in the bucket. They just keep making bad decisions over and over and over again because there's no way to change that behavior. The opposite, when you put a bottom in the bucket, when you have your superpower, when you have your compass of right, now when you start putting in, mostly good decisions, right decisions, better decisions, you're going to have some bad ones. That's, until you establish the habit and behavior, that's going to happen. But as you put more and more of the better decisions, more and more of the right decisions in, it pushes out all of the wrong decisions, because there's that bottom now and there's not room for both of them. So that's what we want to focus on now. We want to focus on them filling up that bucket, using their superpower, using their compass of right to make right decisions. So that's the behavior that they establish. So going into today, like I said, start on reminding them of their superpower, compass of right, difference between wrong and right, making right decisions, those decisions that are better for them. And now we can take that compass that was introduced last week, talk about what happens if you don't use that compass. So you can talk about what you taught them last week about that compass, that if you don't follow its directions, you will get lost. If you're trying to go from point A to point B and you don't use that compass, you may end up going around in a circle and never getting to where you want to be. And for the kids, making better decisions is going to get them to where they want to be, not making wrong decisions where they get lost, where they have regrets, where they get in trouble. So that's the comparison. When you use your compass of right, your superpower, to get to where you want to be by making right decisions, you're going to have a better life and you're not going to be lost. And when you're lost is when you've been making wrong decisions and when you have regrets and when you get in trouble. So talk about that. But then what we need to do is then talk about the positive reinforcements. What happens when you use your compass of right? So a great example right off the top of my head that you can use is the fact when you're asking them questions and they answer by raising their hand in a respectful, honorable way, they're doing the right thing and they answer your question and they answer it right, they get a reward. So that is an example of being respectful, honorable, using their superpower to make a right decision that is better for them, and then they actually get a positive reinforcement. Something good happens. And then a couple different ways you can either take some examples from the class that have been very, very positive. Marisol or Haiti can give a couple to you that you can talk about. Maybe even go back. I remember about 3 or 4 weeks ago, they talked about that, that one grade they got. That's very, very positive. But then we turned that around and we talked about the negative. But again, so you can go back and talk about that positive. If there's other positives that have happened in the class, you can also ask some questions, or a question that is very similar to what you do in the class today, but that question could be, so When was the last time your parents asked you to do something? And if you did it and you made a right decision and things were better for you, give me an example of that. So ask the kids to do that and have them take ownership of that process and be thinking about how when they make a positive decision with their parents, a right decision with their parents, using their compass of right so that they're not lost, right? Using their compass of right, their superpower, that things are better for them. And the things that are better is they don't get in trouble. Their parents love on them. Their parents maybe take them out for ice cream. They have an internal sense of pride and being proud because they know they did something that made their parents happy. And that's a big thing that we're also going to build upon. When you use your compass of right, knowing the difference between wrong and right, making better decisions, and those decisions are not just better for you, but they're better for everybody around you, you start to see the positive impact you have. And these kids, when they help their friends, when they help their parents, when they make those right decisions versus wrong decisions, internally we will again use that positive reinforcement instead of the negative. So we want to make that positive reinforcement of those things that they do that gives them that feeling of empathy, that hormonal release of, wow, this was really cool. I did something great. I helped my parents are proud of me, or Marisol is proud of me, or my friends are proud of me, versus if I would have made a wrong decision. And we'll add a few of the negative in there, but we're going to focus on the positive. So really excited to hear about how it goes this week. Again, I can't be there tomorrow. I've got a full schedule. But you guys are doing fantastic, and this is what this is all about, where you guys take ownership of this and make this your own program. Again, I'm available for any questions that anybody might have, and just really excited about the great things that you are doing. Thanks.